So I'm just internally asking to serve as a clear channel for this information so that it comes in a way that is understandable, clear, and hopefully that you receive what's yours to receive in a positive way. So the background on this information that I'll share with you tonight, and those of you that were on the trip, I really do encourage you to join with me in the sharing of this. This is not my information or proprietary information. This is universal wisdom that was given to us. And we were shown this information starting with the very first night that we were landed into this house that was going to serve as a foundation. And Patricia Skinner, who's on the call, was gathered with a group of women in a circle, and they were intuitively harmonizing, I'm going to say, tuning in to the project, the global project, which is the establishing 32 centers of light around the world. And so Mark and I just happened to come into the living room, and Patricia asked me to come and join the circle. And as soon as I put my hands on this gold round thing, then I guess Suzette was the one that brought it. Suzette, I see that you're on the call here today too. I just started going deep, 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 deep into, I don't even know what to call that. It wasn't a trance. It was just this very intense energy. And this whole trip, I have to say, it was like this, where something would grab a hold of me, this power that was much, much bigger than I am. And I'd be in this technicolor interaction experience with these various cast of characters. And I'm just going to call it source energy from now. And what began to be shown to me, and as I was being guided to say certain things to our circle of women, I think there is, Patricia and Suzette, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like there are about 5 or 6 of us in that circle. There became this pattern, and it seemed to be very specific. There's a specific key, there's a specific pattern, and we're to get this pattern down within us. And at the time, I was thinking, well, it had to do with this ancient temple that we had come to see and to experience. And as the week went on, we were given one part of the pattern after another. And so the first pattern became like this, and it was the word soften. And it went on from there to 4 more keys. And what are the keys in general? What I began to recognize while we were looking for an external pattern, in actuality, what was being gifted to us was an internal pattern. It was an internal energetic pattern. And so it's a new way. It's a new way to internally navigate through this world. And there are a lot of sayings I know that all of us have grown up with. One is work hard, get ahead. 2, keep your nose to the grindstone. Stay focused to achieve your goals. You see, there's a lot of them, which connotes being very clear and firm and directed, and practice perseverance and work hard to get to an end goal. And yet these keys, these 5 keys that came through, are really showing us something completely different. It's a softer, more co-creative way of moving through life. And that work hard, get ahead, that perseverance, got to have a goal. In our awareness, we've been taught that that's the way. And we supplement our intuition to guide us through that mental decision-making process. And so now this is where the departure comes from. So the internal structure that was given to us, rather than steel ourselves up to get to the goal, the guides are telling us to soften. And what does that mean in particular? Soften is to neutralize the polarity that you have and are feeling or might be wrestling with in your mind, your emotions, and your body. And of course, we all struggle with those things. So the guides were constantly saying as we were moving through our process, soften, soften, soften. Soften means to internally neutralize. To internally neutralize. So I'm just going to invite you to do that right now, is just to suspend whatever you have going on in terms of what you might be thinking or feeling, and just consciously soften. Soften the muscle around your skull. Soften your physical body, your shoulders, your arms, the internal spaces of your solar plexus, your heart. And then to actually soften the mind, let go of the thought of the mind even. And the more that you start to tune into this, dial into this, no matter what you're doing and where you are, what you're going to start to find is you'll start to feel a very subtle, soft, magnetic flow. And that was the second key. So the first key is about softening. The second key, as we were going across the swinging bridge and looking at this gorgeous waterfall cascading off of the side of a mountain, and we stopped to ponder what that was and the excitement of walking across the bridge, this swinging bridge, looking down into a ravine. The guidance was to take a look at that water. The water's not doing anything. The water's not pushing. The water's not trying. The water is not fighting. The water is just a substance. It's just matter. And the water is being guided to flow by a force that is unto itself, outside of itself, is a part of itself. And so that's what we were asked to begin to dial into on this second key, is to allow ourselves, whatever is happening in life, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, is to flow, is to tune into and dial into this feeling of flow. And a lot of us have been practicing this for a long time, so we really do know what this is. The difference is, and there is a subtle difference and it's a profound difference, there is a magnetic force on this earth now. And it's opened up, and it can open us up if we allow it. What this magnetic force is actually doing, for those of us that have experienced any kind of hardship or trauma, a lot of us want to vacate or leave our body. We take flight instead of fighting. And this magnetic flow pulls us down into our body. It pulls us down into the earth and beyond the earth. It pulls us into a void. And the void is highly creative. And it's actually who you are. And so as you allow yourself to sense and feel this, it's a very subtle, magnetic force that when you soften and neutralize the polarity of your mind and your body, you'll start to feel this magnetic force pull you down into the depths of your body. You won't come up and out of the body if you get triggered in some way. You'll allow yourself to be pulled down. And down doesn't mean down into anything. Down means through. Down means through. And those of us that have experienced these 5 keys in real time, which hopefully we're going to do this tonight, many of us have gone to different places depending upon what our energy systems are attuned to. Some of us stop and commune with the energies in Middle Earth. Some of us go all the way through to the other side and find ourselves among the stars and in full expansion mode. And some of us simply remain in the stillness beyond all stillness. But the key to flow, this kind of flow, is this feeling of allowing yourself to be pulled. That's different for us. Because even though we talk about being in the flow usually means stay present, stay focused, stay aware. Don't let go of your mental mind. Stay clear in terms of looking around you, in terms of that strategy, that internal strategy that you have. But the second key gets you connected with this magnetic flow that begins to pull you down, down, down into the body so deeply that you are so settled and so peaceful that really nothing is going to rattle you. And there's no fighting against it either, because with the key number 1, to stay softened in your awareness, that's how you give yourself permission to allow this magnetic force. It's a very powerful magnetic force to take you where you want to go. And really, we're talking about there's nothing that happens against your will. Everything happens because of your higher will. What we've learned is our lower will, our personality self, is a part of the struggle. But when we learn to soften and know that we're safe, know that this subtle, powerful magnetic force is guiding us, is pulling us, then it leads us to key number 3. And this is about movement. Key number 3 is about movement in the context of a collective. And key number 3 is harmonize. So part of how we were guided to understand this key is one evening, I was guided to put the group into 2 separate circles. I saw like the Olympic rings, overlapping rings. And I was shown, oh, what we have a tendency to do is we find ourselves in a grouping, a soul grouping, a family grouping, just an energetic environment that has us feeling a particular way, and we get used to that way. And at some point, when you are softening and you are allowing for this magnetic pull on you, it will actually magnetize you into a different concentric ring of consciousness. It literally is like a pocket of consciousness. It may or may not be different than you. In all likelihood, it is different. And what it's doing is it's opening you up to experience a higher state of awareness within yourself. But what happens is, in our human nature, when we are being introduced to new energy, our human part of ourselves, we go back to key number 1 and we brace ourselves. We start to contain ourselves, or we open, depending upon what the situation calls for. And so, rather than doing that human nature thing, the guidance is to harmonize. And again, this may be a situation where you have a very familiar feeling to your environment, this new environment. But if you're magnetically pulled there, chances are it's going to cause a source of irritation within you. At some point, no matter how good it feels, or how expansive it feels, or how uplifting the energy may feel, it'll cause potentially some source of irritation, agitation, disruption, emotional uncomfortability, only because it's a new energy. It's a higher frequency. Now, conversely, if you go into or are magnetically pulled into a new circle, let's say a concentric circle, and you start to feel compressed, and you're still staying very soft and open, the only thing you need to do is just take note of that and recognize what you do want and what you don't want. And the moment that you recognize, I don't want to feel compressed like this, then that magnetic force starts to flow you in a different direction. And I'll share with you an example that happened to me, which I shared with a group, I think it was Saturday morning, right before we left to part company. It was such a profound experience for me, and it was very, very helpful for me to understand these keys. So harmonizing is actually the expansion. So the fourth thing that happens once you are in, let's say, new energetic terrain, your consciousness naturally and organically starts to recalibrate. You don't even have to do anything about this. Because once you're in a new configuration, a new group consciousness, your body, your mind, your spirit, everything starts to recalibrate to the new terrain, allowing yourself to soften and flow. And it puts you again into the circle that you've just stepped into, and it also begins to take you into new circles. So this recalibration is a really, really key part of this. And I have to say, each of these keys are not necessarily linear either. It's not first you do this, and then you do this, and then you do this. A lot of these things are really happening simultaneously. The fifth key in all of this, and the easiest way that I have come into understanding this, is expansion. And you might say that expansion is a form of let go, as in letting go of boundaries, letting go of beliefs, letting go of perceptions. But really, it's a lot more than that. It's understanding more than likely in key number 4, when you're recalibrating, you're absolutely, you might even be storming when you're recalibrating. Your consciousness may say, I don't like this. This doesn't feel comfortable. I like myself the way I was. This new stuff is just not it. But by the time you start feeling the expansion, you're really moving into the 5th key. And the 5th key is a kind of free form, from what I can tell. So in other words, you're allowing whatever fear you might have had in all of these first 4 keys, you're just simply saying, it doesn't matter anymore. That fear that I had, that way of working, that way of being, that way of doubt, that way of insecurity, that actually doesn't matter anymore because it doesn't serve me. And what happens, it's like a mirage, it just starts to dissipate. And you find yourself in a much more joyful, expansive state of awareness. And you find yourself around other individuals that, again, are part of these concentric circles that perhaps you would never have thought to put yourself in or to step into. So the purpose in these 5 keys, the way that we've come to understand them, is really part of the magnetic force that's on the earth now. It's the image that I received was like a serpent, or like an electrical wire that lets loose, and it doesn't have a linear way to move and to dance and to play. And so it's a way for us to flow our energy, our attention, our lives in the directions of our heart's desire. And we already know that our intention is to be of higher service, to be in joy. And so it's, in a way, it's kind of a process of getting out of our own way and allowing us to connect with this, what I want to say is an intergalactic grid of light, to find our way through these portals of light, I'm going to say. They're energetic in nature and allows us to find ourselves through these portals in a way that we start to find each other, we find our playmates, we begin to manifest in a very different way. And it opens up avenues of expressions within us that perhaps we haven't allowed ourselves to experience before. And so as we start to move through this process, I'm going to say, to allow ourselves to soften and let go of the way in which we felt that we had to go. We felt that we had to create. We felt that we had to combine kind of like this hybrid feeling of flow with perseverance, or flow with accountability, or flow with very specific goals in mind. What happens is the rigidity, or the way that we perceive we have to do something, starts to disappear. And we are allowing ourselves a way to experience life on this planet, really more in the way that we're used to experiencing life as a spirit, where the hard edges around us get to dissipate, and the softness of life, the sense of protectionism, has more of an opportunity to fall away. And we start to tap into more of a primordial creative force. And what I've seen with all of this is time is no longer linear. We stop looking at time as though it has to march forward 1, 2, 3, 4. in the way that we are shown what is ours to do, or we step into creative marriages and partnerships and begin to play with new teammates. And so I'm myself just starting to understand this and put it into practice and work with it. I know that we went through 2 weeks in Guatemala, and almost always with our retreats and activations, at some point we have a breakdown and we always get to a breakthrough day. And that day at our house on Lake Atitlan seemed to be Wednesday. And what happened with me on that Wednesday is I was working really, really hard to hold sacred space for one particular person. And in doing that, what I found is all the usual defenses that I had had as a little child were suddenly stripped away. And I was back to hearing what people were thinking and feeling, and it was like all these multitude of voices and energies and sights and sounds, and I had absolutely no filter. And what I recognized was that this was on some level a gift, and on another level, I thought to myself, how in the world am I going to get through the next part of the week here in this way without completely losing it? And what I found myself that evening in circle is I just simply put voice to what I was feeling. And I recognized that on some real level, I was actually moving through these 5 keys. So first I had to soften to what was happening. The second was I was flowing in a very different way. I was quite aware of that. And the energy was amping up like crazy. The third thing that was happening by me speaking up was I was learning how to harmonize within the context of the group. And what I was most concerned about was that I wanted to keep my heart open. I wanted to keep that level of sensitivity that I had walled off as a child, but I also didn't want to hurt. I didn't want to have everything around me feeling like a sharp pain. I wanted to figure the puzzle out. And of course, my version of harmonizing was speaking truth. And so what that led me to was to recalibrate. So by the next morning at breakfast, I was going, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. My heart is still open. I'm still got all these senses going off in technicolor. But what's happening now is I'm centering it all in terms of my heart space. So that was the recalibration phase for me. And of course, it went on from there, going through the rest of the trip and coming home. I recognized that these 5 keys, what was happening is that they were, the context of this was allowing me to let go of the usual defenses that I had carried with me pretty much my whole life. And it's also, as I learn the keys and practice them, it's allowing me to connect into that very, very strong but subtle magnetic pull, so that I'm not artificially holding my body, my mind, my spirit in an artificial holding pattern, because the mind can be incredibly strong in terms of, no, I stay here in this swim lane, in this way, in this awareness. I speak my truth in this way, because this is what's going to keep me safe. But that's actually not true at all. It's not true at all. And so to put these 5 keys into practice really requires us to feel differently inside of us, and to connect with the stronger primordial magnetic force that's actually conspiring to bring us into a much more expanded state of awareness, and conspiring to bring us vibrationally into a frequency field that actually gives us everything that we've ever desired, and gives us a feeling and a knowing that we're in the right place at the right time to find our playmates, to be in life with those that we love and care about, and vice versa. And so that's the introduction to the keys. And I'd like to take you through the very same process that we all went through on that Friday. We spent in my view, it was a very magical Friday, where we just truly held space for one another. And we centered. I was guided to the setup, and I'll explain this to you very briefly. One person was called to sit in a chair, and in this chair, we were all facing the sacred temple, the underwater sacred temple that was represented by a plasma field. It's a biospheric plasma field. And this biospheric plasma field is the magnetic force. It is the magnetic flow that forms all of creation. And so with consciousness and group consciousness, this plasmic field can be held in support of another soul to do the 5 keys, to do the softening, to do the let go, to allow for the flow, to allow yourself to feel safe, so that you can then harmonize and recalibrate with a higher sense of yourself, a more open-hearted, softer version of yourself. And it allows for you to open and to expand. And so what I was guided to do is to put each person in a chair. One person was focusing on the person's heart. The other 2 people were acting as a balance and stabilization force. The person on the back oftentimes were guided to put their hands on their shoulders, or just really let the person know that there is an awareness all around them, behind them, beside them, in front of them, so that they can just truly soften and go deep into this field. And each person, by the way, was guided down into this, with this magnetic pull, to a different place. Not everyone went to the same place. And I had no idea of what it was, but it was through a simple series of, I'm going to say, suggestions or words that were spoken. Something to the tune of step, 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 go down, whatever the case may be. So with each of you, I would like to do that tonight, just so that you can begin to feel the presence of this energy. And as I call your name, what I would like for the rest of us to do, to imagine what position you would take. I may call you by name in terms of the position that you might want to be to face the person. And let's see how this goes. And then after we have this experience, we'll open it up for questions, for comments. But Patricia, Faust, you want to say something?
Yeah, let me know if you think this is a good time. I just got gifted something just today, and I have to move my own cursor. It is a painting by a young woman I'm going to have to move the cat. A young woman who was in Lake Athlon shortly before we were. And it's pretty phenomenal. Here, I'll hold it closer because there's all these representations here. This is Maximon here.
Wow. This
is a Pleiadian. And then we got a reflection here. It's wrapped in cellophane. It's Gaia. And then as you go down, this is something that comes up in synergy all the time. I think it's probably called the anemone crown. And then as you continue to go down, this is Pachamama. I completely missed. Let's see, I can hardly tell myself right here. Oh, this is the underwater temple. That's Pachamama, and these are the underwater volcanoes here. And so it's pretty phenomenal, and she's just handed it to me. And I really wanted to share it, and maybe it'll provide some inspiration tonight.
I love it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Not only that, but the center, the overlay of that picture is the close-up of a woman's face.
Right.
Beautiful.
Which actually looks quite indigenous to me.
Uh-huh.
It's an indigenous face.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Really nice.
And well, of course, you saw the 3 circles. It actually creates a semblance of a DNA spiral, just one section of it. There's a lot going on. So.
Yeah, and the concentric circles for the harmonization of the consciousness.
Right.
Beautiful.
Patricia, that's I see the Vesica Pisces there with the creation.
Yes, it's the Vesica Pisces here.
Yeah.
If you exclude the top one here, there's a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
Well, and we have the blue beans come in periodically.
Oh, so. Definitely.
Very
much guiding the whole process.
So here's the DNA as well, right there.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Can you see that, Patricia?
Well, the other thing about that too, that DNA symbolism is actually the spiraling too.
Yes.
A lot of the, the movement that I saw was this intertwining energy. And when you look at it from the side, it's that woven kind of pattern. But when you look at it from above, it's concave circles moving.
Yeah, and you know what I saw just the other day? And see, I think I can find it really quick. That movement of energy in our first mastermind, when we were expanding the energy for Randy, I have a drawing of that same energy form in this notebook somewhere. It could be in the other notebook. Yeah, it probably is. But it was the same thing. And I drew it. I didn't know how to explain it. So that actually came up quite some time ago.
Beautiful.
Before we continue with each of us in the chair, what is key number 2?
Flow.
Flow. Okay. I didn't quite get that because I came in late and I got bumped off.
Yeah, and that version of flow is not like the flow that we're accustomed to doing when our mind and we start recognizing synchronicity. This kind of flow is just pure allowance of ourselves to sense and feel this magnetic flow. It's really putting us in the sensing and feeling mode. And again, once you're dialed into it, you can recognize it's very subtle, but it's got a very strong magnetic quality to it.
Yeah, I just want to add about number 2, is that made so much more sense to me tonight. I just felt energy of just be the flow. The magnetic force source will take care of it. You know, it's everything we've heard, but I felt like I took it to another level of owning it, of just the force. We're just we're here for the ride. You know, just have fun and go along for the ride and allow that force to do what, you know, guide us to what we're here to be. So thank you for that. This whole, I was in Guatemala and tonight's been excellent review. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And as you were speaking there, you know, some from looking at this from the outside looking in might say, oh, you let go of your will or your ambition or your goals. And that's not what we're talking about, is it? That's when you say everything is.
You allow that higher goal, right? It's just, you have that. And I love to feel that my will and God's will is one. So I'm allowing that higher force energy to guide me so it's absolutely embracing the oneness that we are, instead of the egoic will.
Yes.
And I think we've all been taught to live in the egoic will, and all that go, do, be, go, and, you know, all these goals that we've had doesn't mean we don't have goals, but we have an honoring of the magnetism that is guiding us, drawing us to where we need to be.
So well said.
So, well, thank you for tonight. It's I'm going to listen to this several times over just because it's just very nice. Thank you.
Well, beautiful. Before we go through the process, would anyone else like to make comment or add clarity or ask a question?
Yeah, Carol, I didn't get what number 4 was. What was 4?
4 is recalibrate. And 4 is the part that, 4 is like the reorganizing of everything that's going on in your mind, and it doesn't make sense, it didn't make sense. You were maybe in harmonizing, you were kind of storming a bit, trying to make sense of what was happening. You were in pure experience mode. And when you start to recalibrate, you start to let go or soften beliefs and perceptions that perhaps got you to that place in that new way. It's kind of like when you were talking about coming off your trip to Baja and you came back and you were having to let go of blah, blah, blah. That's actually you recalibrating to your new normal. Right? It's not stepping away. It's not saying, I didn't like that or blah, blah, blah. It's softening and opening to this higher vibrational way of being in your life, being in your awareness of who you are and what you are and what's really truly guiding you. And this is different than having a debate or a disagreement. A disagreement comes when two wills come together and one says this is my way and the other one says this is my way. And there's this kind of pushing or sandpaper effect. This sort of magnetic flowing, this force, what I find is that way of sandpaper stuff is all internal. There isn't any of this projecting to the other. It causes an internal combustion within us. And then we start to say, whoa, this is weirdness happening inside of me. And I'm feeling so uncomfortable here that I've got to recalibrate. My body is just trying to recalibrate, trying to get to something that I don't understand yet. But if I keep softening, and just don't put any energy into the sandpaper feeling, then I'm going to have an aha moment. I'm going to come into this new state of awareness. I've just gone through that fourth key from Saturday all day staying in a high energy system. What was so internally irritating me from post Guatemala to Saturday just popped like a bubble. I don't even remember what all that was. But what was happening, I feel that my consciousness, just from that induction, that infusion of high frequency, whatever that stuff used to be, it's just not there anymore. So that's the recalibration of key number 4, is to recognize when you're feeling discombobulated, that you just keep softening inside yourself and allowing yourself to be shown and to be pulled to that new awareness. I hope that helps.
In the process of doing the steps as it was evolving, we went inside and softened, and this second step was to allow. It was as you soften, you melt all the edges, and it actually creates more space within your body. And I know one of the things that came through when I was in the chair, I felt like Jell-O, but it was like soften and then melt circles in the circles in the circles, and you just keep dissolving, which put me into the allow flow mood, which is number 2. So it's soften and then allow, or in the flow stage. And at the end of that, I felt like I was a puddle of Jell-O on the bottom of the floor. You know, it was like there wasn't anything there. And then certainly was the harmonize and calibrate to that new norm, and then expand. But so that's sort of how it all came about, and that would just help me to understand it, was that you're just, it's like Deepak Chopra used to talk about the spaces between the spaces. That's all.
You bring up a really good point there, because there was a metaphor that came up, the circles within the circles within the circles. And then with another person, it was the sun behind the sun behind the sun. So in other words, it's like getting into a 0 point feeling in your body, but it's not 0 point where there's a nothingness. It's a 0 point where it's an all and everything. And I think Nancy Streck and you have shared with me a recent experience that you've had with soul support, that you've said it was expansion and so on and so forth. And it's kind of like that in a way. And yet there's a different, I kind of got the feeling there was a different quality to it. And so, that's a great point, Patricia, that circle within the circle within the circle. So my suggestion might be to take the people through this process that haven't experienced before. And those of us who have experienced it before, hold the space of the experience. And then, of course, we'll each take a turn in this so that you can feel the feeling. And again, I'll just go into stream of consciousness and be guided to speak words to you as we move through this. And so imagine, if you will, so Anna San Juan, you're first in the chair. Yay! And you have Patricia Skinner in front of you at your heart chakra. You have Patricia Faust behind you. So the two Patricias, one's in front, one is behind. You have Dottie to the side stabilizing you, and you have Suzette beside you as well. So Suzette and Dottie are working together, and yet the 4 of you are working together as a collective. So Anna, the very first thing that you do is just simply soften. So again, I'm going to let go here of this context now, knowing that you're surrounded. And so they're saying to you that as you recognize that you are at the very center of your creation, all you need to do now is to understand how deeply, 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 deeply you are held. You can now allow your heart, your mind to soften and to open. You are at the very depth of your life experience. The doorway is open. The doorway is open. All you need do now in present moment is allow yourself to go deep, 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 deep into the cavern, into the temple. Go down into the temple. Down, 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 down you go. There you will find beings waiting for you. They are there. They are there. They are there waiting for you. They have been waiting for you for a very long time. They are your ancestors, and they are your teachers. They are here to come, to be with you, to help you, to show you. And yet, as they are here to greet you, you must soften, soften, soften. Can you see them? And as you see, as you know, you are to harmonize, 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 harmonize with these very beings. And they will help you. They will help you to recalibrate your energy, your life, your path. The doorway is open. And all you need do is to allow yourself to flow, as you stay soft and open, and allow yourself to be magnetically pulled into the Middle Earth, into the beingness, into the space and time with these beautiful ancestral beings that are here to teach you, to show you who you are. And now, take a moment, and allow yourself to be magnetically pulled up by those who are holding space for you and with you. One with your heart and the other with your back. Two to balance and stabilize you. Allow yourself to come, to be pulled, to be brought back into the awareness of your heart, your mind. And you will remember who you are. And we say, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much. You just take a nice deep breath. And just allow yourself to stay right there. And now we're going to go on to Marilyn Stickle. So Marilyn, you're going to have Dottie at your heart. And you're going to have Patricia Faust again behind you. You're going to have Suzette and Patricia side to side. And so now you're just gently relaxed. Your body is relaxed, your mind is relaxed. And I'm hearing, as you understand your life path, you are merely to soften the mind, yes? Soften the mind of who you are. You have done well. You have done well. You have done well to march and to shift and to flow. They're saying to you now that as you recognize as you recognize that you are so deeply loved by your Creator, you allow yourself to meld into the divine. And as you are at the very corner of this biospheric plasmic field, they're saying to you now, step, step, step. Your guides are with you, but they're saying you must follow directions correctly. So step, step, step. Pause. Turn your body to the left to look into the temple. This temple is a biospheric field. And you must simply soften, 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 soften. And to harmonize with this field. And as you harmonize, now you step, step, step into the temple, into the temple, into the temple. And you harmonize again and again and again. You harmonize, harmonize. And now you are held, you are fully held by this field. This magnetic force shall take you down, down, down. It shall take you down, down, down through the earth, through the earth, through the earth. Through the earth to the other side. You must go to the other side. You must go to the other side. Allow us, soften, 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 to take you to the other side. And you flow, you flow, you flow. Take a deep breath, you flow. Your body is being recalibrated, 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 recalibrated. And now your helpers, they are here with you. They have traveled with you. They are holding space with you. Allow yourself to softly, softly, gently, gently be pulled by this powerful magnetic force up through Middle Earth, through the sacred temple, into the interior of the temple. Interior of the temple. And you are different now. You are different now. And now to expand into the temple and to step through the temple back out into the environment. And expand, expand, expand. Take a deep breath. And you are here. You are here. And we say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So next is Nancy. So Nancy is held with your heart by Patricia Skinner. And Dottie is behind you. And Suzette and Patricia are beside you. I'm hearing the words that you have been waiting ever so patiently. And so we say to you that you are ready now to receive the knowing and the feeling of heaven above and heaven below, as heaven is always inside of you. And so we say to you, as you are held, you are to soften within your very own self. You are to let go to let go and to soften. And we are here with you. We are here with you. And we say to you now that as you are here at the face of the temple system, there are 3 concentric circles surrounding you, and you are in the middle. 1 is above, 2 are beside. But the temple is below you, is below you. We are asking of you now to allow us for you to flow. And we say you are to stop here and allow us to take you into the inner chamber. Down, 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 down you go, down you go, down you go, down, down, down. Down you go, allowing yourself to flow as you stay soft and open. Soft and open. Your soul is looking for integration, and we say to you now that we are gifting this to you in this universal way. Down, down, down you go. To the other side, to the other side, to the other side. Where there is heaven below. Heaven below. The codes are waiting there for you. Allow yourself to be, soften within yourself, just simply to be. And we wish for you to feel the harmonization of your heart, of your heart, of your heart. And as you are magnetically pulled up through these 3 concentric circles, through the temple, your body shall recalibrate. For 3 are chosen as 1. 3 are 1 in your body, Recalibrate, recalibrate, recalibrate. Feel the oneness in your body. Recalibrate and expand into the awareness of the all, the all, the all. Take a deep breath. You're asking me to leave you right here in this space and this knowing for your heart to integrate, to recalibrate. So the 4 around you are still holding sacred space as you breathe into this new energy. And a new life path. They're saying you've been looking for a new life path for a while and you have done well as a servant, but now you are to be a leader in a very different way. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And now we move on to Randy. So Randy, as you are sitting in our circle, Patricia Skinner is at your heart. Patricia Faust is behind you. And again, Suzette is beside you, as Dottie is beside you. And so as you recognize the flow like water in your life, we are also wishing for you to consider your heart, your body, your mind to soften. They're saying that you are at the very beginning of your life path now. You're to turn around and say goodbye from that which was before. And as you're at the corner of this bioplasmic field, you're to step into your destiny. They're saying again for you, you must be quite precise. They're saying step, step, step. Pause, pause, stop, breathe. Turn to the left as you are facing this bioplasmic field, this ethereal temple. The codes are inside the temple. They're saying as you take a breath, you are now to calibrate, 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 calibrate to this new field. And now step, 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 step inside, step inside, step inside. Allowing yourself to harmonize, harmonize with this internal field. And as you allow yourself to soften, 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 soften everything about you, know that you are held. And you must allow yourself to free fall. And they're saying down, 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 down you go. Down, go deeper, 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 deeper. Go down into the plasma field. Go deeper, go deeper. Go through the plasma field. Go through the plasma field. Go through Middle Earth. Go down the waterfall. Go through the tubes. The timelines that were before are no more. They're saying go down. Allow yourself to be pulled down. To the other side, to the other side, to the other side. And to harmonize, 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 harmonize. And allow yourself to soften, soften, soften. Now allow yourself to be magnetically pulled up, up, up you go. Wherever this magnetic pull takes you, just simply remember the pattern. Remember the pattern. Soften, soften, soften. And up through Middle Earth, up through the plasma tube, up into the biospheric dome, up into the temple, allowing yourself to recalibrate, recalibrate, recalibrate. Take a deep breath. And now you're going to step, step, step as you face where you came from, to step through the plasma field, back out and into your own individual Merkaba. To expand, expand, expand. Take a deep breath. And I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. So now those of you who have gone through this process in a brand new way for the first time, you get to help and to hold sacred space for those who have been holding space for each of you. And so you have a taste for what this is. And so as I call your name to hold sacred space for each of the next few people. So Suzette is being called forward. And Anna will be at her heart. And Marilyn will be behind her. And Nancy will be beside her, as Randy will be beside her. And so the rest of us, as we did before, are holding sacred space for the person. And Suzette, as you sense and feel the field around you, you soften, you neutralize the body in your mind, your spirit, your emotions. You're saying that you, too, you're at the corner of the temple, this bioplasmic field. And as you take a step, with every step that you take, your body is soft, your mind is soft. And you turn and you face this permeable field of light. And as you step in, your body naturally wants to harmonize with your new environment. And so you allow for that because you are softening the interior spaces within you. And you allow yourself to flow, to flow, to flow. There's a bit of an anti-gravitational feeling of a field going on here. They're asking of you to allow yourself to be pulled down, down, down into the inner caverns, through the time tunnels, through the intergalactic spaces within the spaces of this earth grid, to allow yourself to go where you're being pulled, where you're being shown. Allow yourself to go down, down, down. Gravity has no relevance to you now. It is not necessary. You are held in such deep love and appreciation, allowing your heart and your mind to harmonize with your new surroundings. Harmonize, 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 and to be shown what is yours to see, to know, to understand in this very moment. Allowing yourself to feel what you're meaning to, wanting to, desiring to, in a much deeper, richer level, to be shown, to be feeling. It's okay to go there now. And so they're saying to you now, as this magnetic field, this force field of light brings you back, there is no care, there is no concern, there is no worry within you, because you are so deeply held, allowing yourself to be magnetically pulled up, 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 back up you go, back up you go, back into this inner temple, and to reharmonize, recalibrate, 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 and to harmonize with the biospheric plasma field. As you step out back into the awareness and feel the amplification of light within you. And we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And next is Dottie. So Patricia Faust is in front of you, and Anna is behind you, and Nancy is beside you, as well as Randy again. There is a feeling and a knowing within you now that as you soften, 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 all the spaces within you, you are held so gently, so gently, so gently. And allow yourself to fully flow. Yes, flow. Flow wherever you wish to go, wherever you wish to go. There is no structure here, you see. There is no structure for you to step inside of. You're being asked to flow, to allow this subtle, powerful, magnetic flow to take you. They're saying, we wish to show you your future. We wish to show you your heart. And as you are taken, as you are shown, and as you allow yourself to stay open, and as you allow yourself to harmonize, harmonize, harmonize with that which is, these circles within the circles, within the circles, within the circles, shall show you what is most magnificent within you. And now you recalibrate, 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 as you are magnetically pulled up through the plasma tubes, up through these non-linear timelines, up through the vibrational tunnels of light, allowing yourself to recalibrate, recalibrate, recalibrate. Allowing your heart to soften and to flow. And we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. So next is Patricia Faust. So Patricia, as you are settling in, you have Randy at your heart. You have Suzette behind you. You have Anna on one side and Marilyn on the other. And the rest of us are holding sacred space for you. And I'm hearing the words, you are ready now. You are ready now. You are ready to be taken into a different universe of light. And so we say, here, now, in present moment, you are merely to soften and to neutralize the polarities that you might be currently experiencing in your body. It is neither right nor wrong, up or down. It is merely that you are to allow yourself to be held, and to be pulled. We wish to give you a feeling and a knowing of this powerful force, this powerful magnetic force that wishes to guide you, to show you, to bring you to a place of knowing. And so they're saying to you that as you step, and pause, and say goodbye to the past in your feeling and your knowing of your life, and step into the inner chamber as you know so well. You are to be pulled down, 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 down into the inner chamber, down into the star chamber, down into the star chamber of your ancestors. And you are to see your future. We are to show you, allow us to show you. Recalibrate, recalibrate, recalibrate. I'm hearing the words, let go, let go, let go. This is the flow. This is the flow. This is the new flow. Feel the flow and harmonize. Allow your body to harmonize with this new magnetic flow. Feel the flow. Feel this flow. It is not linear. There is no goal. There is no prize. This is an awareness. Harmonize, harmonize, harmonize to this awareness, this awareness, this awareness, this awareness. Harmonize, harmonize. And now, let us bring you back. You are to do absolutely nothing but allow yourself to stay soft and open as we pull through this magnetic, powerful force you into a new configuration. They're saying recalibrate, 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 and expand into the awareness. Expand into this awareness that we bring to you. And we say thank you. Expansion is the key word for you at this point. So we say thank you, thank you, thank you. And it kind of feels like Nancy Strachan is coming out of that same, I'm going to say, pod of energy. It's like the two of you are ending one phase of your lives and you're moving into another. So that's very interesting to me, just to see the energy, how it's working. And so the next to go into the chair, last but not least, is Patricia Skinner. And so you have Anna at your heart, and you have Dottie behind you, and you have Nancy to your side, and you have Randy to your side as stabilizing forces. And so as you allow yourself to soften, 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 and to neutralize all polarity in your mind and your body, we say to you now that as you shall recognize, as you shall fully recognize for the flowing, flowing, flowing of your life and living, you are facing this vital spirit plasmic field. And you're saying you're to step into the inner chamber. Step into the inner chamber merely by harmonizing with this feeling within you. And as you go in, and as you sense, and as you see, you are to allow yourself to drop, drop, drop. Like the feeling of suspended animation, you are to go deeper, deeper, deeper. Go deeper and let go. And fully let go. Allow yourself to flow wherever this magnetic force wishes to take you. Wishes to take you. This is a higher will that you must trust. You must trust in the higher will that you are to take you into the realm of light, for which you are already destined to be. You have seen it, you have been shown it, you know it instinctually. Allow yourself to be pulled into the depths, below, 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 well below, to the other side, to the other side, to the other side. And to harmonize, 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 harmonize with this energetic environment. This environment. This is your future. your future that we are showing you. And then you allow yourself to recalibrate, to allow the codes to activate within you. And as you recalibrate, allow this magnetic flow to bring you where you need to be. Allowing yourself, by those who are holding sacred space for you and with you, to bring you back, up, up you go, up you go. Taking a deep breath as you continue to recalibrate, you expand. Allowing yourself to expand into this new normal, this new feeling of oneness. And we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. So there is this energy, this magnetic, powerful force that guides us, shows us where we are to be. And if we allow this magnetic force, if we keep soft inside of us and we allow ourselves to be pulled, and we just totally trust that this is for our higher state of awareness, and we harmonize, we allow ourselves to harmonize with this new energy, this magnetic energy, and everything that comes with it. Because some of these cast of characters, for instance, that may come with this new harmonization process, as you begin to recalibrate your life, your awareness, your consciousness, your choices, to that which is bubbling up within you now to show you a new way. We're no longer working with past, present, and future. We're working in this magnetic flow, and it changes how we think, how we feel, how we decide, how we come to conclusions. And we know that we are recalibrating when we begin to truly feel this tremendous sense of expansion within us. And the expansion is real. It doesn't come necessarily devoid of storming. You may still have some of that fourth key recalibration in you, even as you're experiencing the expansion. And the expansion may feel so new and so raw, frankly, that your heart may take some time to get used to the greater expanded state. And you may look around your current environment, energetic environment, emotional environment, for the cast of characters in your world, and you may temporarily say, this is so not working for me. About this part of it, that part of it, this is not working for me. But give it time. It's not that you're ignoring anything, but just give yourself time to adjust to your new normal. Because if the fifth key is any indication of this energy, the polarities within you have disappeared. And what you begin to feel is deep love, appreciation, honoring, a sense of all is truly well. There's no race to put a fire out. There's no emergency that you have to make any decision right this moment because of the shifting in your awareness. You allow yourself simply to get to that place. And I kind of described it on Sunday during our call as like popping a champagne bottle after you've shaken it up. And all the bubbles seemingly want to come to the outside and explode, literally. with that sense of expansion. And of course, you want everybody and everything around you to reflect that, but you give yourself time to experience that. And then in your awareness, your decisions all make perfect sense and they come to you. That's the other thing about this energy, is your answers, your opportunities, your connections come to you. And so I open this up for comments, for questions, for whatever you would like to share.
Carol, could we hold space for you to go through the chair and maybe Dottie would channel?
I'm totally open to that. I appreciate that offer. Again, I want to be sensitive to everyone's time as well.
I'm supportive of you going in the chair. I have time.
Okay.
So
Right. Okay. Carol is in a chair. Suzette at her heart. Patricia Faust behind her. Let's see. Nancy beside her, and Randy on the other side. Okay. Dear one, now is your time. Open up. Open up and leave go. And allow that which you are to expand to the creative force that you hold deep within you. And allow yourself to move down, going down, down through all the bubbles and all the channels, moving down, going down the tunnel of life, moving down and moving out into that which is all possibilities, the wonder of it. And allow yourself to validate, to externalize, to calibrate, and harmonize with the entire universe. And see it, and feel it, and be it, and move with it, and see yourself moving out, and see yourself doing all that you can be, and all that you have come to be. And now, taking it all in, calibrating it into your body, breathe. Breathe it in and allow it. Yes. Yes. That is what is needed. And now, with the support of all who surround you, coming back, moving up, coming back slowly and carefully and gently, moving up through the tunnel of life, coming up to where you have been. Yes. Yes, it is so. Allow yourself a moment of thought to just concretize the thoughts and the feelings and the love for what you have just experienced. Yes, yes, yes. It is so, and so it is.
Thank you, Dottie. Thank you, everyone. That feels so good. Feels delicious, actually. I love it.
It's my honor.
Oh, thank you so much. So, any questions, comments before we go into a close here this evening?
May I ask a question?
Of course.
Yes. So the 5 keys, I think when you first started out the session, you were saying that the purpose of the 5 keys. Will you restate that? I mean, not the purpose, but what does it give us maybe access to do or be more aware of, or is it?
It gives you a way of flowing your life force in the decision makings that occur in your life with a greater ease and grace.
Okay.
And it brings you, by following and allowing yourself to be pulled along by this subtle magnetic force, it accelerates, I'm going to say, your capacity to expand into greater degrees of joyousness. And your relationships reflect it, your life choices reflect this as you start to really fine-tune your awareness. And the benefit is you get into a place where you literally give up the struggle within yourself between mind and heart, soul's purpose, and that need to achieve. You recognize that this magnetic force is really conspiring to have you experience all the joy and the love that you've ever desired.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess it's the closest that I've ever gotten in a physical way of what it feels like to not be in a body.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's quite a gift to be able to experience source inside the context of a physical structure without having to be scared out of it from time to time or doubt yourself. So in a way, I guess you would call it a practice of awareness. These 5 keys are practices of awareness.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for asking, because it helps me to put it into words.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is very new, which is another reason why I wanted to really share this energy so that it gets it more seated in my own awareness.
Excellent.
So how about it, guys? Let's before we close, let's each of us say something about this, or what you experienced, or share a piece of wisdom with the rest of the group. And we'll start with you, Anna.
Well, I can say that I had a very strong physical experience around pressure in my head, in the third eye area, even when you were first just talking through the first 5 points and talking us through it as an introduction. And then certainly while you were guiding me in the chair, I could feel pressure, almost like a pulling, something was being pulled out. And I just was staying in awareness with it. And that sometimes happens when I'm I don't really have an explanation for it, but it's something related to the third eye and maybe things being drawn out and put in. So that
Okay.
I wanted to share that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, and then there's on my list here on the side, it's Patricia, would be Patricia Skinner.
After Guatemala, like, in the process of trying to come home and then having to stay over and all the confusion, I found myself in a different place, of not getting caught up in all that was going on and just sort of standing there. It was really and you and I talked about it. It was an interesting place to be, and then we really, throughout the week, got used to this idea of, can we harmonize the group? Because if we're all of one mind and because it was a big group to keep up with, it was like 19 of us, I guess, at times. So it really worked when we could get the group to be a cohesive group. This time when I dropped through, it felt like I was in I don't know, it almost felt like a new earth. It felt like I dropped into a space of new light and new creation and new growth, and it felt open and clear. I would love to have stayed there. But it was like a fresh, clean, new place. And then you called me back. But I didn't have any trouble dropping through the earth at all. And so that was a nice experience. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Okay, how about you, Dottie?
I always seem to find different words for people, for my teachers, when they're explaining something, because everybody has their own way of imagining or seeing things, and when you talk about the flow, I guess maybe what I need to ask of you is, if when you talk about the flow, to me, I get the feeling that you have to give yourself permission. The flow is like giving yourself permission, and then you get on this. You allow yourself to get on this current of life, and so many of us are like, we want to control everything. We have goals, we have agendas, and so you have to let go of all that. And even though you might have to be somewhere at some time, you can still allow yourself to be, just to be, and allow the universe to carry you. And as you're being carried, to just experience everything that you see and feel and think about. And to me, that's like harmonizing, because you're becoming part of everything in your life, and it brings you so much gratitude and joy, just because we just go through life blindly, and also not feeling. It's almost like we isolate ourselves, and so to me, that's like the 5 keys.
Beautiful.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure that I kind of have it right. I can remember the words if I can remember the thoughts behind them.
When you were talking about flow, Dottie, I had this picture of you lying down on a cheap dollar raft, like those dollar store rafts that you get, that you at your last minute and you want to go to the lake and you want to relax,
Yeah.
but you're in a rushing river, and the
Yeah.
river is magnetizing you toward some place that you have no way of knowing where it's going to take you.
Right.
And little do you know, you're about to go down a Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the, that metaphor of seemingly being unprepared for life, right? Which is the cheap inner tube breath thing, but so trusting in the flow of where you're being pulled to, that you just know intuitively, instinctually, that it's going to be okay. But that pull is taking you someplace you would never dream of, but you so totally trust it that in your mind you think it's going to be, over Niagara Falls, that'll be the end of you, right? But it's not really that way. The mind will tell you that, and the mind will tell you that you're underprepared for such a grand adventure. But that's having such a radical trust in the magnetic flow of your life that you just let go. You soften the inside of you to allow for that. And that's there's magnificence in that. And that's where all that, the harmonization, the recalibration, and the expansion follows. When you do those first two, follow those first two keys, those to me are the most foundational. Those two go together. And the other ones, the harmonize and the recalibration, is you allow your consciousness to get used to the new normal.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to practice. That's not easy.
It's not easy at all. It's simple, but it's totally not easy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, next is Marilyn. Marilyn, are you with us? Would you like to share?
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, yes. Well, so thank you all. Thank you, Carol. A very lovely, expansive experience this evening. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay, next is Patricia Faust.
I really resonated with what you said toward the end when I was in the chair, which was that there's a new way of life ahead for me, or this is a new way of life, and to leave the past behind and expand, and how the fifth key was especially important for me. And from a couple other sessions that's exactly what's happening with a lot of things in my life very quickly. So when an energetic shift needs to happen, it seems to happen very rapidly. So I really resonated with that. And this time I didn't have a lot of visuals, but a lot of body sensations. And I came into this session pretty light anyway, because it's a synergy day for me. And you'll hear about it tomorrow. It was like off the charts, crazy cool.
Okay.
And probably not completely back in my body.
Uh-huh.
Feeling a little floaty.
Uh-huh. Wonderful. Well, thank you. Okay, next is Nancy. If you'd like to share or make a comment, or let's see, Nancy, I think you're on, let me unmute you. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. I want to thank you for the initiation and the activation. I felt like it was, melting and flowing quite easily and consistently, and I was able to go way down into the pyramid and the earth and come out to the other side. Seemed to be like a field of stars, and that was lovely. And then the other thing that was big for me was I when you asked me to hold the field, I've held the field before in many situations, but I have never felt it so strongly. It was like, it really truly feels like magnetism. It's almost like when you put two opposite ends of the magnet together, you know, it's that kind of really strong feel. I'm still feeling it now. I'm just holding the whole thing. And it was just very physically, you know, I could very physically feel that. And I thank you also for the acknowledgement of, you know, this is a time of shifting into really a different way of being, a different job description as far as, you know, what I'm calling, being called to do. And so thank you for affirming that's a gift. And I just thank you for the whole evening and the way that it was such a shared and full experience. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Nancy. Okay, and next is Randy.
I'd like to say what amazing experience that was to drop in. It was, I almost completely left my body for a moment. It was very, very nice, and definitely went through to the other side of the planet. And this really feels like these 5 elements to me are really similar to like a river and water, representing water, because water is very soft and it always flows with least resistance, and it harmonizes with one another, and it also gets recalibrated at times. And the expansive part of it, I feel, would be like when a river's coming off of a waterfall. So it's coming off the fall and it's expansive, and yet it's never looking behind where it came from. It's always going with the least resistance, flowing with grace and ease. And yet in that flow, it's also very powerful. It has the ability to cut through stone. Water can cut through metal. And so it's something we can learn about the power of this, and we are mainly water. So yeah, I think it's great. So thank you.
No, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least is Suzette. I'm going to unmute you very quickly, Suzette. Let's get this right here. You want to do that, or would you like for me to? There you go.
I was trying to get rid of that window. I'm unmuted. I just want to say thank you. I'm looking forward to going to bed early after this and integrating all night long. I feel that what I feel the most during the session is a knowing, a deepening of letting all questions go. There's no need for questions. There's just the flow. And it's so empowering to know that magnetic field, I'm being magnetized. And the water analogy that Randy just said was awesome. In the waterfall, you know, that meant a lot to me tonight. So it just will be an image I will hold on to without questioning anything, and allowing and flowing and recalibrating. I mean, it's just, thank you. I look forward to listening to this some more and deepening every time I do. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And thank you, all of you that were in Guatemala, because we did this work together. We brought it in really as a collective. So like I said, it's not an individual knowing here. It really, really was brought in as a collective. And hopefully the result of tonight will be that you'll take some of what's been shared here and integrate it into your own practice. Maybe it might bring a different perspective as you move through the coming days, months, and years to come. And you'll start to see evidence showing up all around you about what this new sort of magnetic force is all about. Because it's definitely a new force that I've experienced myself very, very recently. In Guatemala was the very first time that I made a connection with this. So I just want to say thank you for being here and being a part of this. And let's just take a moment before we truly say our goodbyes, just to hold this energy in these 5 keys, and I'll read them again, and you feel them in your body again. So the first key is to soften. So feel the softening in your body. And then to flow. Connect in and feel the very subtle yet powerful magnetic force pulling you. It's a very gentle flowing with a force. And then to harmonize. In your life, there are many, many opportunities as you go with the flow that you will be asked to harmonize. It'll be an intuitive, instinctual knowing to harmonize. And once you begin to harmonize, you'll start to sense a kind of a recalibration happening in your body, in your consciousness. Old held beliefs or perceptions of who and what you are will just perhaps come up and be challenged or dismissed or dissolved within you. And finally, as you experience the process of recalibration, you are naturally going to expand, whether gently or spontaneously, into a new state of joyousness and excitement, connecting with a deep sense of peace and yet passion as you go. So with that, I leave you with these 5 keys to play with, to adopt as you will, to entertain. And I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of this and helping me to learn and grow. So thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. You guys all have a wonderful
Good night.
evening.
Thank you.
Okay, goodbye now.
Bye.
Good night.